Okay, so working on the vertebral column, trying to engage, generally speaking, the direct barrier. You're trying to bring things apart or bring things together. Usually if you're going direct, you're thinking about taking things apart, usually because they're not moving in that particular way. So we can think about, say, hip and shoulder, generally speaking. Also, what I'm going to try to make obvious to you is that there may be methods that don't fit for a particular individual. So I'll try to do the same thing the same way on two people so that you can see the difference. So I'm going to make a prediction based on the two people I've chosen to use, that one of them I know one won't work and the other one will, and the other one I think both approaches will work. So if I'm thinking about the lumbar column, and we'll try to add an activating force, so it becomes a little bit more tricky in lateral when you're trying to add an activating force and not use the vertebral column, right? The better way to say it is don't use the lumbar vertebral column if you're working on the lumbar region. So don't ask for like a lumbar movement. Maybe ask for an upper body movement instead, or an upper torso movement. How do you separate those? You really don't. So it's a bit of an edge case whereby it's not as clean. So essentially what I'm going to try to do is take hip away from shoulder. If I was in front of him, I have to reach farther, I have to lean farther. It becomes a little bit more cumbersome for me, harder on me, especially if I do it a lot. Trying not to cross hands. So this is a method you will see. I want you to see. It'll do something, but if I just watch, if I push there, it doesn't side bend them. It just kind of wiggles them. If I add it, it looks big because you're looking at my hands, right? That's what's happening. Is that side bending? That is not side bending. That is scapular motion. So I can trick myself. Look how much I'm side bending his whole vertebral column because my hands are moving apart. His scapula is moving. Because if I do this, it doesn't really do it, right? So trying not to cross your hands because the largest sensation is probably going to be your pectoral tissue. It's probably going to be here. Whereas if I flip and I use this hand to push downwards, so now because I'm facing this way, I have a better angulation. I have palpation on the vertebral column so I can tell if it's actually moving. Right, so something. Now if you look, right, my hand is going to move a decent amount. But if you look here, or you even look at his leg, not a ton is happening. But my hand's moving, partially because I'm rolling over tissue. So sometimes your arms will actually, or your hands, if you're looking at them and not feeling what's happening, you'll get tricked. Because if I just look, I'm moving. But if I feel it, I feel bone, and then I feel like I'm rolling over tissue. Okay, so we agree that that didn't move all that well. Now if I come down here and I get way more contact and I can do way more leaning, so now this hand goes to the vertebral column so I can palpate right in here, so I've got good, really, really good contact. Right now I just moved his leg, that didn't work the way I wanted. But it's finding the fit. So we all agree more of this stuff is moving visually. Right? It's not perfect. Some of this is t-shirt pull. Okay? That's why my hand's on the back. It's actually not working so good here. Now if I move slow, you now agree that this is moving the vertebral column a bit more? Yeah, now what I'm going to do is push your shoulders on the table. Let it go. That didn't do a damn thing. It just moved his shoulders. Right? So patient active approach there isn't going to really work. Okay, so you come on up. Thank you. Come here. You on your side. Thank you so much. So, as I said, my prediction, so it's not a hypothesis or even a bet if you don't say it beforehand. So it's like you're playing pool, you got to call your shot. My prediction was I should be able to move her in both of those methods. So up table pushing downwards, or down table essentially pulling. Right? So my prediction is I should be able to get actual movement to happen in a lumbar vertebral column here. Just have to find the right fit. So see some of that's leg. Works a little bit better, but it actually doesn't work good. So see, if I ask you, I made my prediction that both of those should work good. Do I support my prediction, or do I have to not support my prediction now? Not support my prediction. Okay, so that's how science works. That's how an actual experiment is developed and tested. So you make a prediction how things should work, then you test it, and it either works or it doesn't. Anyways, so This is going to be a little bit different. So I'm trying to find the fit. So here, I'm just squishing into tissue. So you see me moving around trying to find fit. Now that's moving it way better, right? Like just way better, way more control. And we will see, push your shoulders on the table and let it go. That worked a tiny bit. Okay, so what I'm gonna have you do, twist your torso backwards. I didn't do this with Preston. Okay, there you go. That's no good because it makes it contract. So patient-active approach isn't gonna work there, at least under the circumstances. I'm not gonna have her push her hips, but again, you see, same goal, same move. It looks different, it works a tiny bit different. It actually worked more similar that time than I would have expected, but you get the general picture again and again and again. Same move, different approach.